It's great to see all of you here today, and really, really pleased that you were able to come to this event. As you know, we had to cancel the event out in the West because we had some bad weather this week, so we were thrilled to be on the road today with sunshine and bright skies, and so it's a great welcome to our Eastern programs here. We want to say a special thank you today to Dollar Bank. The Dollar Bank Foundation underwrote our State of the Vision event this year with a very significant sponsorship. They've become our primary banking partner in the past couple of years, and we really appreciate them supporting this event. As we got ready for this event this year, it didn't seem possible to me that a whole year had passed since we did it last. But I started thinking about all the things that we've seen and that we've done this year, the experiences we've had, and all that we as a whole of InVision have made happen in 2015, and realized it's not just been a very busy year, but it's actually been an extremely good year as well. Although I rarely see most of you, and that was brought home a few minutes ago, I'm the face that often isn't seen. I'm very aware that each of you is a very integral part of InVision, what we do and how we do everything here. The energy, the passion, the skill and integrity that all of you bring to your work every day, that's what contributes to keeping InVision as a company that's strong and healthy and that helps people, like the people we support, to live meaningful and happy lives. You really inspire me, because in your work, you live our tagline every day. That tagline that says, innovative approach, shared vision. This year is a departure from our normal State of the Vision presentation, and we hope you'll be able to appreciate it. This time, your executive team members are not going to be sharing quite as many numbers and facts and figures or graphs with you. Well, the executive team members except for Pat, our CFO. We need to see some of his numbers, but frankly, he just has to share them. For the most part, though, we're going to talk about the core values of the InVision Human Services Board, that the InVision Human Services Board adopted and approved back in September. We are very proud to introduce them to you today, and we would like for these core values to literally guide every step that each of us takes whenever we do or say anything about InVision as an employee or a representative. Whatever your position is with InVision, whether you work in the corporate office, as part of the parent company, whether you're a direct support professional, working with our flagship subsidiary InVision Customized Services, or whether you work primarily to raise money for the InVision Foundation, you're literally taking on the name of InVision Human Services every day. As I said before, we're really proud of these core values, so we're going to spend some time talking about them. We hope you're invigorated by them and that you'll continue to be proud of your association with InVision, partly because of these core values that we try to live every day. I'm really glad that you're here today, so thank you very much for coming. Let me now, and for the very first time, introduce Kim to you this way. I'd like to introduce Kim Love, our Chief Operating Officer for InVision Human Services.
Thank you, Ruth, and thank you all for being here today. I'm very fortunate to be able to talk about our first core value, which is that all human beings are treated with dignity and respect. And from the very beginning of our discussions about core values, this one has really been first and foremost in our hearts. When Ruth founded the company about 23 years ago, it was in large part because she had met people and was dealing with people with disabilities who really weren't being treated with dignity and respect. And that touched her, and it drove her to do something very different. For the InVision Customized Services staff, That's most of you in this room. Tandem wants to give everybody a round of applause. That's anybody that works in our residential programs, our employment programs, our community support programs, and our new outpatient mental health program. This core value has obvious application in every single thing that we do. And for those of you who work for the parent company, which is anyone in finance or IT, CAP, and facilities, this concept extends to the way we treat the people we support in ICS, to the way we treat each other, our donors, even the legislators with whom we interact and negotiate with. The way we live this core value can be seen in many ways every day as you walk through our halls. Whether it be how a supervisor interacts with an employee who isn't quite meeting job expectations, the way in which a member of our facilities staff negotiates a contract, or how we request donations from foundations, our interactions are rooted in dignity and respect. In addition to these day-to-day interactions, we also honor the skill, the service, and the commitment each of you bring by ensuring that we give you first consideration when promotional opportunities arise. And I think a number of you in this room have experienced that. So in 2015, 44 employees were promoted into higher level positions. We value and respect each of you because it is the right thing to do, and because it helps us to retain the most talented staff in the field. Through this core value, along with human resources, quality management, training, and onboarding initiatives, we're setting out to intentionally improve the retention rate for our direct support professionals. We strive for InVision to be one of the top workplaces in Pennsylvania. While people choose to receive services from ICF for many reasons, we strongly believe that the 60 people who chose us as their provider last year did so in part because they knew that their voices and choices would be respected and honored by everyone here today. And in 2015, we also made changes to both our corporate and eastern offices. And first, in an effort to ensure people feel safe and secure and valued, we implemented security plans for both offices. In addition, we moved into the new larger office in Reading. And that right there. And we also expanded our corporate office space. And there are many reasons for these changes, but one of them is simply because we want each of you and all of our employees, our vendors, and the people we support within ICS to feel comfortable and secure. All human beings are treated with dignity and respect. The deeper definition of this core value is it is one thing to say these words, but another to live them. We at InVision Human Services are committed to treating everyone, our employees, our customers, our vendors, and all people and organizations we may support with the dignity and respect that they deserve. Anything less is unacceptable. This last sentence is critical. As you'll hear shortly from my colleagues, none of us is expected to be perfect. We are, however, expected to try to live with these values in our actions and our words every day. This is who InVision strives to be, and all of us can help make this happen. As I turn things over to Joe, I want to reiterate Ruth's appreciation for each of you, and thank you for your support and hard work throughout the year. And now I'm happy to introduce Joe Tuckey, Chief Administrative Officer.
Thank you, Karen. We are determined to act with integrity, knowing that doing so often requires courage and tenacity. Virtually every day, we each have the opportunity to test this core value. One of my colleagues says that their quick definition of integrity is simply doing the right thing, even when no one is looking. It sure is easy to say, but it isn't always easy to do, is it? I'd like to point out something to you about all four of these core values. Every single word in every core value has a meaning, and a team of people worked on these for months before they ever came to the IHS board for approval. Our team lost count of the number of drafts we went through. The reason for this is because these core values set the tone for every move we make and everything we say. So each and every word was considered carefully and given importance. With that in mind, look back at this core value. We are determined, acknowledge as quietly that we know we will stumble sometimes. and then doing so often requires courage and tenacity. Oftentimes we are faced with difficult personnel decisions resulting from inappropriate decisions made by our own staff. At times, these situations may involve key employees, well-liked and respected by their peers and colleagues. Always doing the right thing and treating all people fairly, as painful as the consequences may be for the company, takes courage. Acting with integrity often does. I'm not sharing that to be a negative reminder, but it's a positive example of how this company chooses to conduct business. That's exactly why the deeper definition of this core value is, we believe that integrity is inherent in the way we conduct business. Demonstrating integrity is easy when our actions are seen and heard publicly. Being truthful and holding to our principles takes courage and tenacity, especially during times when our actions are not seen or heard publicly. In 2015, a complete HIPAA security plan was adopted. If one of our core values is to be determined to act with integrity, then we must not only have the plan, every one of us must fully implement it within the context of what we do with and for InVision. This is an example of going beyond what we do publicly. We all read the policy and watched the video. Have we all taken every step we saw in that video? Most of you don't know that every time a donation is made to the company, from a $1 bottle of soda for a festival to a $500,000 grant, a thank you note is sent from InVision. This speaks to our integrity as well. We not only have to do this for tax documentation, both for the company and for the donor, but also because we want those contributors to know that we will be good stewards of their gifts. Integrity truly is at the heart of everything we do in each department and position within InVision. Before I turn the podium over to Lori, I'd like to invite any of you who have questions or comments about the core values, how they were developed, who was involved, what they mean to you specifically, or anything else. Please feel free to call, email, or visit with me. As Ruth said, we want everyone with the InVision family of companies to feel good about these core values. Thank you. And now I'd like to introduce Lori Bodner, Chief Information Officer.
Thanks, Bill. I think it's totally appropriate for the IT officer to be talking about choosing innovation over convention. It's what we think about every day, which leads us to InVision's third core value. We choose innovation over convention. That may seem short and simple, and in some ways it is, but it really means so much. Approximately 95% of InVision's employees work with people who have disabilities. And for all of you, virtually every day is a study in new techniques, creative methods, and fresh approaches. For the rest of us, it is imperative for us to always approach new projects and processes in innovative ways, even when those trusty conventional ways have worked well enough in the past. But the bottom line is that InVision was founded and is named for its ability to, as one of my colleagues says, not just think outside the box, but throw the box away. The reason Annie and Teresa and Michael and Zoll and so many others are living what they consider to be a meaningful life is simple. Those of you who support them choose innovation over convention. The reason this executive team and the InVision's board of directors are able to take care of the organization's business so effectively is because they have procedures and protocols in place that are untraditional and frankly more effective. The reason we now own a building in Reading instead of leasing one, the reason we use the Conversations That Matter training platform, the reason we now have an outpatient mental health program. These exist because we all choose innovation over convention. It's just part of the culture inherent at InVision. When we look at the deeper definition of this core value, we see that innovation is at the heart of our business philosophy. We use approaches that we believe are the most effective. Oftentimes, that means creating new standards. Innovation is part of our name because it is who we are. Let's look at a fantastic example, one of so many that we could share from 2015.
This is Ricky. About 18 months ago, Ricky was living in a group home, which really wasn't a good fit for him. Then his family reached out to InVision Customized Services to talk about options. And we learned that Ricky wanted to have his own apartment and to have staff just there during the times that he needed them to be there. He wanted to live with a friend, to go home once a week and spend the night with his family. It really seems like basic needs and desires, but the traditional system isn't necessarily designed to meet those basic needs. So the ICS staff began to determine what Ricky would need in terms of support, and realized that everything he wanted and needed could be provided through home and community habilitation rather than traditional residential services. So we adapted the system to work for Ricky, instead of requiring Ricky to work within a system that didn't meet his needs. The result? Well, Ricky has blossomed. He has lived in his apartment for almost 10 months now and loves it. He has gone from shy and quiet to singing karaoke, which they see right here. That was all possible because InVision chooses innovation over convention. We looked at what worked for Ricky and created it, rather than sticking to a traditional model. For Ricky and his family, his current living situation is innovative, and he couldn't be happier. It is easy for us to think about innovation when we think of the approaches we use within InVision Customized Services. It's important to realize that there are also many examples company-wide. For example, the InVision Foundation has implemented a unique model for fundraising called the Benavon model, which focuses on a grassroots relationship effort. And many of you in this room support children and social workers more than 8,000 miles away in South Africa as part of InVision's South Africa partnership. And people we don't even know have begun volunteering to help us, simply because we're reaching out to them through you, our board members, our vendors, and friends of the organization. So the next time we find ourselves in a staff meeting asking, why are we doing it that way? And then find ourselves thinking, good question. We will know that we are living and breathing this core value. And now for the final core value, I'd like to introduce Marjie Foster, who directs the Center for Advancement and Partnerships.
Kim mentioned previously, when talking about the first core value, that it resonated deeply with all of us, and it did, that all human beings are treated with dignity and respect. And with that in mind, this fourth core value really becomes even more profound. It is this: we take risks, learn from the outcomes, and use that knowledge as an impetus for improvement. And the deeper definition of this core value is that we strive for excellence, at the same time understanding this company was founded on the principle of taking risks. We may not be successful every time. Risk takers seldom are. However, we own our own decisions, learn from the outcomes, and use what we've learned as a foundation for future decision making. It would be great to think that everybody in this room has never made a mistake. I will speak only of myself when I say I know that's not true. I also know it's impossible to create and sustain and grow a $35 or $40 million nonprofit without making mistakes. One of InVision's hallmarks, though, is our ability and even our intentional effort to take those risks. We take them every day in every aspect of this business's life. Interestingly, being the word person that I am, we looked up the word risk, and synonyms to the word risk are danger and jeopardy. You probably won't be surprised to hear that. But another synonym to the word risk is possibility. So when we are considering purchasing a building in Reading or a residence for one of the people supported by InVision Customized Services, or whether we're performing due diligence on a possible new business partner, or whether we're seeking and vetting potential new board members or new hires, or even just trying a new approach with one of the people supported through ICS, we are taking a risk that that effort might fail. But more importantly, we're convinced that the decision may also result in a possibility that would not have been available had we not taken that risk. During the 2015 fiscal year, we hired 322 people within the InVision Human Services family of companies. That brought the total number of employees to 607, 578 of which work directly for InVision Customized Services, and 29 of whom work directly for InVision Human Services. In the midst of hiring more than 300 people, we also had to transition 230 people out of employment for a lot of reasons, including an occasional hire that simply was not a good fit for them or for InVision. And we learned something from every separation and from every new hire. So the extended definition of this core value is really important to hear and to understand and to own. We own our decisions, learn from the outcomes, and use what we've learned as a foundation for future decision making. The key is that we learn from our decisions, ones that work and even ones that don't. At InVision, we acknowledge this core value, saying that it's okay to make mistakes as long as we learn from them and take action to make sure they don't happen again. The core value isn't about being forgiven, it's about constantly learning and doing better. And now I just always love ending on that note and then handing the mic to Pat. I'm happy to introduce Pat Mezyk, Chief Financial Officer for InVision Human Services.
Thanks, Mark. Now the really exciting part starts, so try to stay awake. When we talk about our core values for our family of companies, I know that at the heart of every one of them is how we use the money. The money that's entrusted to us by the families of the people we support in ICS, by the state of Pennsylvania, by our individual donors, by the foundations and companies who give us grants, both large and small, that help us do this good work every day. My job today is to share where InVision was, and is headed, and to do it in a way that's really exciting and fun. If we only go back to June 30th of 2012, our total revenues for the company were a little over $20 million. 75,000 of that was from donations. So most of it was from program services. And we lost money that year, almost $500,000. 3 years later, the year ended June 30th of 2015, our revenues were $34,550,000, a 3-year growth of almost 70%. Unbelievably large growth, and you all felt the pain. Program revenues were almost $34 million, a 66% growth, and donations went from $75,000 to $630,000, a growth of 700%, unbelievable. And we actually made some money that year, $400,000. Now, if we look to 2016, the year that we are currently in, that ends at June 30th, our projected revenue is over $40 million. So we've doubled our revenue from 2012 to 2016. 91% growth in program services, it's over $39 million in revenue. And grants and donations are projected this year to be over $1 million, $1.1 million. Pretty significant growth. And a significant part of this growth can really be attributed to our expanded efforts and relationships with a lot of our legislators that really help us get things done when we need them to get done. Already in this fiscal year, we've settled on additional funding from ODP for historical and future underpayments of services that they've shorted us. With that funding, we were able to pay our outstanding line of credit and our temporary operational financing. So we are debt-free operationally. We continue to look for ways to increase our revenues, especially those revenues that aren't tied directly to expenses, and to increase all of our efficiencies where possible. We know that the payment system from ODP is changing. Ruth, Kim, myself, and others from InVision have been engaged in discussions about this with the legislators and industry leaders for years. And the final model is yet to be determined. But with our current business model, which is to increase equity, which we do through the purchases of buildings and houses and create assets to improve our liquidity, no operational debt, very, very liquid, and to build a successful foundation from $75,000 to $1 million. So our business model is preparing us to withstand any cash flow problems that happen with a change in the payment systems. Okay, so we know changes are coming. There's a road there. We also know there's always been and always will be changes. We're working hard to be ready for whatever comes our way, and so far it looks like the road's pretty nice. Now I'd like to introduce Rachel Murphy. Rachel is the Manager of Executive Administration and is the Director of InVision South Africa Partnership.
The image here was created in 2014, but the concepts illustrated here are as applicable now as ever, especially as we talk about our company's core values and how they pertain to InVision South Africa Partnership. Looking closely at this image, you can see words like respect, equality, compassion, and dignity. Those of you who contribute to the partnership are making a difference in the lives of over 300 children we support in South Africa. More than 94% of South Africa Partnership's funding is from InVision staff and board members. 6% comes from vendors or friends of the company. 20% of your contributions provide a year's funding for a social worker in Talangalani. 50% of your donations support youth through Educo Africa in Cape Town and through other organizations supported by the Western Cape Forum for Intellectual Disabilities. In 2016, we will explore a new potential partnership with Chance Children's Home, where we expect the remaining 30% to allow us to support a young man by the name of Duma in purchasing his school uniform, supplies, stationery, and transportation to and from classes. InVision employees have supported the South Africa Partnership for more than 8 years, and as we develop the core values you've heard about today, we were careful to include the partnership in the discussions. As our first core value states, InVision strives to make sure that all human beings are treated with dignity and respect. Now, perhaps more than ever, we uphold this value within our company and throughout our global neighborhood. Thank you for your continued support, and at this time, I'll invite Ruth to close our presentation.
I have to say how proud I am of the support that we provide to that South Africa project. And really that support comes from those of you in this room and in other parts of the company who make payroll deductions every single time you get a paycheck. Some of them are small, some of them are not so small, but it is the cumulative effect of all of you contributing that has made that project really viable, and that has allowed us to expand it to include more and more projects over the years. As Rachel said, I think it is the epitome of our core values demonstrated in a global neighborhood. So much passion and care went into the development of those core values that you've been listening to us talk about, but they're really only meaningful if every one of us is still trying to live them. Looking back over 2015, I realized that there was a time when we couldn't avoid a few months of delayed hiring because of the unstable funding situation in Harrisburg at our state level. We also know this has happened before, and it'll probably happen again. That's something we can't control, but we can have some influence on. I can assure you that in 2015, just as in 2011, we did everything at InVision that was possible to avoid layoffs, to maintain salaries, and to keep the company viable. And as Pat talked about a few minutes ago, We've obviously succeeded in that respect. We did this because we believe every employee deserves to be treated with respect and fairly. We continue and will continue to take risks, but not ones that jeopardize the people who are integral to InVision. That includes, of course, each of you and all the people we support throughout Pennsylvania. I've said this many, many times. I don't know how many of you have heard me say it, but I have always believed that our employees are the greatest asset that InVision has. And so you are also the most valued and appreciated. Your value is even more apparent as InVision embarks on a new three-year strategic plan. When that work is completed, we will have prepared the company for growth for many years to come. As mentioned, the InVision Human Services Strategic Plan was recently approved by the Board of Directors, and the InVision Customized Services Strategic Plan is expected to be presented at the March board meeting, just a few weeks away, for approval from that board. As we look back on 2015 and look forward to the rest of 2016, I'm more confident than ever that InVision is poised to do exactly what our new vision statement asserts. And that is to become a preeminent human services organization in Pennsylvania by consistently delivering innovation, leadership, and advocacy. An example of our leadership and advocacy kind of occurred last week when I presented some testimony to the Pennsylvania House of Representatives Disability Caucus when I happened to be in Harrisburg and presented on behalf of InVision. That led to Chairman Representative Tom Burke, asking me specifically to draft his testimony for next month's House Appropriation Committee hearing. I can only do that because of the work that you all do. Just as we said in our vision statement, your innovation, your leadership, and your advocacy led to that testimony. The stories I tell are your stories. I'm only able to represent InVision because of the work that you all do. During the break, we welcome your comments. We'll be floating around the room, all the executive team. We welcome your comments, your questions about the core values. Please take a minute and feel free to talk with each of us or any of us. If you have comments or you want to tell us some more stories, because we love to hear your feedback. And I personally must say I love to hear your stories because I take them and tell them in other places. Thank you all for being here, and we'll take a little break before we get to our staff awards and leadership awards. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we're going to start the award presentation of our portion of our presentation. First of all, I would like to draw your attention to your program, which lists all of our one-year service recipients on the back of the brochure. And for the one-year folks that are here that are celebrating their one-year anniversary, if you, on your way out, can pick up an InVision t-shirt at the table, please do so. And we certainly welcome you to our staff, and thank you very much for your first year of service, and hope that you're standing up here at your 10-year mark. We'd also like to congratulate our 3-year of service recipients. Their names are also printed in the brochure, and also to introduce folks to a new gift program this year. There is the description of the program in your brochure, and it really allows you to pick kind of a little gift of your own choosing that would be the most beneficial to you. And this was initiated out of some feedback that we received from you, and we hope that you enjoy this gift option. At this time, we would like to celebrate our 5-year employees, tenured employees, and I believe that everybody is already here, schooled by Rachel. So what we're going to ask people to do is when your name is called, to please come up and stand with Ruth for a photo. Okay, so at this time, I would like Misty to come up and Tandon.
Okay, this is quite funny because I'm just so tiny. Can you, all right. So Misty is one of our obviously 5-year recipients, and it's very well deserved. I just want to say a few things about Misty. Anybody that knows Misty, she remains a leader amongst her team of program supervisors. She embodies our mission and philosophy and what it means to promote person-centered work, collaboration, team dynamics. She is always there for her staff, her individuals she supports, and she's a true advocate and she's a true representation of what InVision is in terms of wanting their employees. So, well deserved, Misty.
Unfortunately, David Calker is not able to be here today, but Jason is going to speak on his behalf.
Thank you. This is going to be rough. So, any jokes there? Bear with me, I'm not the greatest public speaker. Had a course in college, but it was online. Didn't really help me out that much. David Calker, phenomenal guy. He's been with the company 5 years now. David has done a phenomenal job with leadership, mentoring new staff, being a constant in Miguel's life, teaching daily living skills, and just routine, trying to keep his life as normal as possible. David's done a phenomenal job. He couldn't be here today. He's actually filming a movie in Fiji, but we accept this reward on his behalf. Thank you.
We'd like to ask Mandy to come up to present the 5-year award to Angel.
Hello. Angel has exemplified the epitome of what one looks for in an InVision employee. Angel demonstrates true commitment to the individuals that she helps to support by always putting interventions in place that are highly empathetic and strength-based. Angel has recently taken the promotion of clinical specialist this past December 2015 with great passion. Angel is an asset to InVision and the clinical team, and I hope that she continues to grow within the company. So thank you and congratulations, Angel.
And now I'd like Cheryl to come up to be recognized.
How appropriate that we would be celebrating Cheryl's 5 years with the company. The same afternoon, we are presenting the core values. Cheryl truly represents the values both professionally and personally. She's a person of utmost integrity, a strong advocate and voice for the employees in our Eastern region, and a person that always has the back of her colleagues. Thank you for your passion, your commitment, and all that you are and represent for the company, Cheryl.
I'd like Jack Birkenstock to come up. Matt?
Well, back when Jack started with the company, there was one other clinician in the entire Eastern region at the time. It was almost 6 years ago now. Yeah.
It's April.
I had been with the company 2 months at that point and got to meet Jack. And everyone knows Jack probably. Usually by his cough first, you can hear him coming. It's true. It's true. But if you've worked in the... Thank you, sir. Thank you. But if you've worked in the Eastern region, you know Jack. especially if you work in signals. But Jack is known as a friend, a confidant, a leader, a teacher, a Buddhist. He's taught us all a lot. I've learned a lot from Jack over the last 6 years. So thank you, Jack, for that, and thank you for all you've brought to the company. We even created a position for Jack because of the importance of our signals program and his knowledge and growth. And due to that, I think the people that we support in signals and the teams are in a place that I couldn't have imagined otherwise. So thank you, Jack.
And I am going to ask Matt to stay here as he is also celebrating his 5th year. A few of you out there might remember Laura Zebrat, who was a much loved member of our management team and who passed away a few years ago. And while she made many contributions to this company, I have to say that one of her greatest legacies was introducing us to Matt Gromas. Now, I think you saw a picture earlier of Matt, and he came up to me and said, "Why did you hire me?" And I said, I had to convince some people that this was the right choice, but from the first moment that I talked to Matt on the phone, I knew that this place was for him. His personal philosophy is so aligned with who we are that he really shouldn't be anywhere else. And, he was definitely the person that we needed to bring on board to build our clinical function in the Eastern region. And he impressed us then, and he continues to impress us. And great things are in Matt's future. Thank you. All right, and I would like to ask Jen Caruso to come up. What seems to be a theme here is 5 years ago, what you're hearing is that this region was really kind of in its infancy. We were floundering, there wasn't very much structure, and so when Jen came on, that's what she came into. She came into a region where there was really a lot of development that was needed. And she's really been instrumental in leading the region through growth that I don't think was possible. We didn't realize was possible. The amount of growth that Jen really helped facilitate has been quite astounding. And she's also played a very key role in helping to develop the infrastructure for our training functions and our referral functions. So thank you, Jen, for your years of service. Okay, and we have one member of our staff who is celebrating their 10th year of employment, and that is Leonard Moore. So I'd like to welcome Ali and Leonard up.
When John B. told me to introduce Leonard, I said, well, I can't write anything, because if I try to write something, it's going to look like an encyclopedia trying to introduce someone. 10 years of service, that's a long, long time. So I just say, you know what, I'll say whatever. Whatever comes to mind. He's a great staff. He started with InVision January 20, 2005, and he got promoted last year, October, to a team lead position. His house just finished licensing, and they did fantastic. 0 citations for their program. Everything was well in place. And each and every time you call Leonard for anything, right there. If he doesn't call you in 2 minutes, he's going to text you, I'm busy right now, call you right back. I cannot ask for a much better team lead. It's a great team. His team partner, Zach, the program that they run is supporting Jude and Billy in Easton. Fantastic. And when the licensing, one of them asked Jude about the team, said, my life is better today because of these 2 guys. Yeah, it's so great. So, great team. Thank you. Thank you, Leonard.
Yes, thank you.
All right, thank you. All right. Pardon me? Oh, I didn't know everybody was standing. I know what they're doing. Except for Pat. Since everybody else took their cue except for Mr. Mezyk. Mr. Mezyk, would you please join us on this side of the room? Thank you. They were trying to... Okie dokie. All right, we are going to head into our leadership awards, and I have the privilege of presenting the Dr. Carolyn Hoffman Leadership Award. It is also the award that has the most number of nominees with difficult names to pronounce. So I thank you for putting me in charge of this. Okay. So the criteria for the Dr. Carolyn Hoffman Leadership Award is it's presented to the employee that demonstrates leadership by working collaboratively toward resolution of problems, accepting accountability, and exhibiting InVision's values of positive approaches. Our nominees, and if you're here, you can just stand at your chair, please, are Vicki McMinn, Patrick Weiss, Beth Engelman, Amanda Gadosh, Sean Bailey, Robert Chalmers, Marcella Van Riper, okay, Dryden Kanyangara, and Eileen Tybo. I got the hard one, not the easy one. Eileen Tobias. Okay, and this year's recipient is Marcella Van Riper. Marcella is described as not only a team leader by position, but also a leader amongst her peers. She works very hard to resolve conflicts and encourages others to do the same. She works collaboratively with colleagues and external representatives to ensure she is providing the highest quality supports to those she serves. Marcella accepts responsibility for her actions and role models what it means to be a leader at InVision. She acts as a mentor to residential counselors and team leaders to ensure compliance with regulation and company policy. And Marcella helps the people she supports maintain beautiful and comfortable homes, providing an environment in which anyone would feel safe and secure. Thank you, Marcella.
She's a little taller than me. Gonna move it down. I have the pleasure of presenting the John Fabb Rookie of the Year Leadership Award. For any of you who don't know who John Fabb is, he is one of our board members. He's been a board member with us for a very long time. The criteria for this award is presented to an employee within their first year with the company that demonstrates the values and practices associated with InVision's positive approaches philosophy. I'm going to call the nominees, if you could please stand if you are here. Joaquin Cortez. Melissa Rowland. Here, Helene Smith. Tierra Taylor. and Chelsea Wanamaker. And this year's recipient is Helene Smith. Helene is new to the InVision family this year, but you would never know it by the way she naturally adjusted and fit into her position, as if she had been working for us for years. Helene has worked in various homes, and though the individuals may change, Helene's positive and vibrant mentality never does. Helene starts every shift with an open mind, understanding, and energetic personality. Not only has Helene provided excellent support to the people we serve, but to InVision at large by ensuring the house is up to licensing standards, organized, and feels like home to anyone who walks in the door. It is rewarding to see Helene's positive attitude, dedication, and eagerness to learn every day. Whether it is with supporting people, interacting with her colleagues, or attending training. Congratulations, Helene.
It is always particularly meaningful for me personally to present the Ruth Siegfried Shaping Our Future Leadership Award. The criteria for this award: it is presented to a direct support professional who demonstrates consistent excellence in leadership, modeling collaborative approaches to problem resolution, searches for opportunities to learn and to teach others, and demonstrates a commitment to InVision. The nominees are, and again, please rise when your name is called: Tracy Fichter, Zach Zangari, Billy Engelman, Vicki McMinn, and Faith Fiopoli. And the recipient this year is Vicki McMinn. In her nomination letter, Vicki was described as calm, consistent, detail-oriented, and fun. These are only a few words that describe Vicki, who has served as a team leader for the past year and a half. Despite many ongoing challenges, Vicki stands out as a constant positive force in the life of the person she supports. She advocates for the health and well-being of the person with whom she works and encourages nothing but the best from all members of the team. Whether approached with a request or feedback, Vicki's response is positive and immediate. She finds and capitalizes on teachable moments and embraces the values of positive approaches. Vicki is committed to the mission and philosophy of the company and ensures that through her partnership and guidance, all people she serves will experience a richer and fuller life. Congratulations to you, Vicki.
Hello. I have the pleasure of presenting the Pursuit of Excellence Leadership Award. The criteria for this award is presented to a supervisor, behavioral specialist, or clinical specialist that consistently seeks to expand professional abilities, demonstrates effective judgment, and accepts accountability, suggests methods and procedures to improve operations, and generate positive results for the department and for InVision. The nominees, you know what to do. Albert Robinson. Gabe Sabanda. Brenda Sorber. Jack Birkenstock. And Rachel Venata. The recipient of this award is Albert Robinson. With each year, Albert continues to show growth and leadership for the supervisory team. Albert embodies positivity, professionalism, and strives to work towards support and collaboration amongst team members. Albert has been noted as taking on added trainings, investigations, and oversight to homes to meet the overall goals and needs of his teams. Albert's overall interactions are that of mutual respect, and he advocates for his individuals' needs to be met. Albert's actions are consistent with our mission, and his person-centered work speaks volumes to his level of commitment to the team, the level of support, and the overall care we are providing. As the organization grows, Albert has grown in his overall leadership within the team and oversight of his caseload. He embodies the true leadership wanted within our organization, which is that of compassion, care, professionalism, accountability, and attentiveness to the needs of the individuals we serve. Congratulations, Albert.
Hey then. Told me you are. I don't think I knew. Okay, so we really just want to express our sincere appreciation for all that you do. It's always a joy to come out here because it's clear to see the passion that you bring to your work. It's very apparent what a close-knit group of folks you are, and it's no surprise that you're able to pull it together and do such wonderful work. So thank you all for coming, and thank you for your years of service.